Troubleshooting a fire burglary instrument, also known as FBI, four-wire fire alarm system with a trouble on Zone 1 involves a systematic approach to identify and resolve the underlying issue. The fact that Zone 1 has a yellow light and the panel suggests a trouble condition specific to that zone. Other trouble lights indicate additional problems that need attention. The fact that the system started beeping and the bell went off, along with someone removing a smoke detector with a red light, are important clues. The most likely causes of the trouble signal include firstly, an open circuit in Zone 1 wiring. This means there is a break in the wire preventing the signal from properly reaching the panel. Secondly, a short circuit in Zone 1 wiring, where the wires are touching each other causing a false signal. Thirdly, a faulty smoke detector on Zone 1, which could be malfunctioning and causing the trouble signal. Fourthly, a wiring issue at the control panel, where the wires are not properly connected or are damaged. Fifthly, an issue with the control panel itself, though this is less common, it cannot be ruled out. Here is a step-by-step guide to troubleshooting the fire alarm system. The first step is to check Zone 1 wiring. You will need to disconnect Zone 1 from the panel. Use a multimeter to test for continuity between the Zone 1 terminals at the panel and the detector end of the wire run. Repair or replace any open or shorted wires found. The second step is to check the smoke detectors on Zone 1. Check the light emitting diode or LED in the smoke detectors. Remove any detectors with red or yellow LED and replace them with non-good detectors. Test the remaining detectors using a smoke simulator to ensure they function correctly. The third step is to check the wiring at the control panel. Disconnect all wires from the control panel. Check for shorts or open circuits by connecting each wire to the appropriate terminal and testing with a multimeter. If a short or open is found, repair or replace the wire. The fourth step is to reset the control panel. Once all issues have been addressed, we connect all wires to the control panel. Reset the control panel by following the manufacturer's instructions. The fifth step is to test the system. Initiate a fire drill to test the system. Ensure that all detectors are activated and that the panel responds appropriately. Let's delve into more detail on each of these steps. When checking the Zone 1 wiring, begin by disconnecting the Zone 1 wiring from the fire alarm control panel. This isolates the zone and allows you to test it independently. Use a multimeter set to the continuity setting to check the wiring. Place one probe on the Zone 1 positive terminal at the panel and the other probe on the corresponding positive wire at the last detector and the zone. Repeat this process for the negative terminals. If the multimeter does not show continuity, there is an open circuit somewhere in the wiring. Carefully inspect the wiring along the entire run, looking for any signs of damage, loose connections, or corrosion. Pay close attention to junction boxes and areas where the wiring may have been spliced. If you find any damaged or loose connections, repair or replace them as necessary. If you suspect a short circuit, use the multimeter to check for resistance between the positive and negative wires. A low resistance reading indicates a short circuit. Look for areas where the insulation may be damaged, allowing the wires to come into contact with each other. Repair or replace any damaged wiring. Moving on to checking smoke detectors on Zone 1, start by visually inspecting each smoke detector on Zone 1. Look for any signs of damage such as cracks, discoloration, or loose components. Check the light emitting diodes on each detector. A red light usually indicates an alarm condition, while a yellow light indicates a trouble condition. Remove any detectors that have a red or yellow light emitting diode illuminated, as these are likely the source of the problem. Replace these detectors with new or known good detectors. After replacing the faulty detectors, test the remaining detectors using a smoke simulator. This will help you verify that they are functioning properly and that the wiring is intact. Hold the smoke simulator near the detector and activate it. The detector should activate and send an alarm signal to the control panel. If any of the remaining detectors fail to activate, inspect their wiring and connections. If the wiring is intact, the detector may be faulty and need to be replaced. When checking the wiring at the control panel, disconnect all wires from the control panel before beginning this step. This will prevent any accidental damage to the panel or injury to yourself. Use a multimeter to check for shorts or open circuits by connecting each wire to the appropriate terminal. Place one probe on the wire and the other probe on the terminal. A low resistance reading indicates a short circuit, while a lack of continuity indicates an open circuit. If you find a short or open circuit, trace the wire back to its source and repair or replace it as necessary. Pay close attention to the connections at the terminals, as these can often be a source of problems. Ensure that the wires are securely fastened and that there is no corrosion or damage to the terminals. To reset the control panel, once all issues have been addressed, reconnect all wires to the control panel. Ensure that all connections are secure and that the wires are properly seated in the terminals. Refer to the manufacturer's instructions for the specific procedure for resetting the control panel. This usually involves pressing a reset button or entering a code on the keypad. After resetting the panel, observe it for any error messages or trouble lights. If any issues persist, repeat the troubleshooting steps outlined above. Finally, to test the system, initiate a fire drill to test the system. This will help you verify that all detectors are functioning properly and that the panel responds appropriately. Notify the building occupants that you will be conducting a fire drill so that they are not alarmed. Activate each smoke detector on Zone 1 using a smoke simulator. Ensure that the detector activates and sends an alarm signal to the control panel. The control panel should indicate that an alarm has been triggered and activate the appropriate audible and visual alarms. If any detectors fail to activate or the panel does not respond appropriately, repeat the troubleshooting steps outlined above. In addition to the steps above, there are a few other things to keep in mind when troubleshooting a fire alarm system. Always consult the manufacturer's documentation for your specific fire alarm system. This will provide you with detailed troubleshooting instructions and information about the system's components. Be sure to follow all safety precautions when working with electrical equipment. Disconnect power to the system before beginning any work and wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable troubleshooting the fire alarm system yourself, contact a qualified fire alarm technician. They will have the knowledge and experience to diagnose and repair the system properly. Some additional potential issues could be related to the end-of-line resistor. Fire alarm systems often use end-of-line resistors to monitor the integrity of the wiring. If the resistor is missing, damaged, or the wrong value, it can cause a trouble condition. Check the end-of-line resistor at the last device on Zone 1. Ensure that it is properly connected and that the resistance value matches the specifications for your system. Also, consider electromagnetic interference. Electromagnetic interference can sometimes cause false alarms or trouble conditions in fire alarm systems. Ensure that the wiring is properly shielded and that there are no sources of interference nearby. Sources of interference can include fluorescent lights, motors, and radio transmitters. As far as water damage or corrosion, water damage and corrosion can cause a variety of problems in fire alarm systems, including short circuits, open circuits, and component failure. Inspect the wiring and devices on Zone 1 for any signs of water damage or corrosion. If you find any, clean or replace the affected components. You also might want to examine the power supply. Fire alarm systems rely on a stable power supply to operate properly. If the power supply is failing, it can cause a variety of problems, including false alarms and trouble conditions. Check the voltage of the power supply to ensure that it is within the specified range. If the voltage is low, the power supply may need to be replaced. You should consult specific manuals for the system sensor 2312/24B. This manual provides detailed information about the detectors, including installation instructions, wiring diagrams, and troubleshooting tips. A Fire Burglary Instrument troubleshooting guide can be helpful as well, along with the NFPA 72 National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code. This code provides comprehensive requirements for the installation, testing, and maintenance of fire alarm systems. Consulting the specific manufacturer's documentation for your fire alarm system for detailed troubleshooting instructions is always very important. Remember, safety should be paramount. Working with electrical systems can be dangerous, so it's important to take the necessary precautions. To energize the circuit whenever possible, and always use appropriate personal protective equipment. If you're not comfortable working with electrical systems, it's best to call a qualified technician. The process of troubleshooting any fire alarm system requires a systematic approach, patience, and attention to detail. Each of these steps helps to ensure the safety and reliability of the fire alarm system, protecting lives and property. Following these steps carefully and consulting the appropriate resources, the system should be properly diagnosed and resolved.